Come on, champ! Come on, champ!
With 1 month left before stepping in with Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather isn't moving like a retired legend enjoying the spotlight. He's moving like a man protecting history.
Double that. Double that. Double jab right here. Woo. Come on. Do the hook right. Jab, jab. Jab, hook, jab. Jab, hook, jab. Jab, hook right hand. Drop.
Get back! Boy, you shouldn't have me. He said, how you like a man? I'm an old man. So record the old man. Oh.
Come on, Jill, with 1 month left before stepping in with Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, is not moving like a retired legend enjoying the spotlight. He is moving like a man protecting history.
Get back. No. Right to him. Catch it. I just flip, bro. I should. Right, that's what. Stop. Switch the rope. Switch that rope. Hatch it. Rope.
Because that 50-0 is not just a number. It is a reputation that does not come with a reset button. People see the cars, the watches, the lifestyle, and assume the hunger faded, but that is the biggest mistake you can make with Floyd.
Woo! Woo!
Behind all that flash is a routine that looks borderline obsessive, especially when you get into that heavy bag work. No rounds and no bell to save you just 20 or 40 minutes straight of controlled punishment where he flows resets and then suddenly explodes with sharp combinations like he is trying to remind the bag who it belongs to.
This is slowing down.
Go. Hook right here. Right hand hook. Again. Hook right hand.
He might pause a few times for water, but there is no real break. Just a constant rhythm that builds something most fighters lose over time, and that is elite conditioning. That is the part people overlook because we have never seen Floyd fade. Not late, not under pressure, and not when the fight gets messy. His legs are still alive, his reflexes are still sharp, and his punches are still snapping like it is round one even when everyone else around him is slowing down.
Carried him his entire career. Control.
6. Punch it.
Well, if you don't know, I want to tell everybody this.
The last time I made 25 million, I made more, but last time I made 25 million was 10 years ago.
Wow.
I'm not bragging and boasting. I'm just telling the truth. I'm appreciative and thankful. $25 million is still great money.
Sure.
But
it's not Mayweather money.
Well, you know, for the last, I don't know how many years, my guaranteed lowest is be like 32, a little bit over 32. That's my lowest. But you'll also know that in the Canelo fight, you know, I made over 100 million in that fight. And then in a Pacquiao, just in 2 fights.
Oh my God.
Pacquiao and Canelo, those 2 fights, somewhere upwards of 400 million. I mean, probably $400 million or better. And just me and sponsorship money. Leading up to the Pacquiao fight, that week I made somewhere 25 to 30 million.
Wow, that's crazy.
So these are my numbers. And, you know, they can say Floyd lying all they want to. If I was so desperate and hurting for money, I'll come back.
You still be fine.
That does not happen by accident. That comes from sessions like this where fatigue is the opponent and he refuses to lose. So while the world debates spectacle money and narratives, Floyd is in the gym quietly sharpening the one thing that has carried him throughout his entire career.
Next month, correct?
Yeah, next month from now, we're ready, whatever.
How do you beat the shoulder roll? He's 50 and 0.
Huh?
How do you crack the shoulder roll?
Happens, you never know. Hey, listen, I think this established my importance in the boxing world more so than the amateur, than the professional fighting, because this is the future. You know, Mike Tyson got a great name, and that's over. That's gone.
And just when you are watching Floyd turn the heavy bag into a long-term conditioning experiment, Mike Tyson walks into the conversation like a man who does not even believe in experiments, just out comes chaos. And whatever happens when 2 fighters share oxygen in the same ring. The interviewer tries to bait him with that classic question of how do you beat the shoulder roll? And Tyson basically shrugs it off with anything can happen, which sounds simple until you realize that is exactly how pressure fighters think. There is no blueprint and no spreadsheet, just timing presence, and that one moment where structure breaks. But what really flips the energy is Tyson pivoting away from the fight entirely and talking about his invitational like that is the real mission now.
Guys, one last question, okay?
What part fear plays in the career of a fighter?
Well, if you're not crazy and you're doing this, you're insane, okay? So I worry about guys that are not nervous before fighting because they'll never be a great fighter. Because when you're scared, you avoid pain, you avoid getting hit. And if you're one of those guys that have no fear, you're gonna constantly get hit. And you're not gonna end the game finish. By the time you finish fighting, you'll be talking another language. And that's what happens to those tough guys. End of their career, they're speaking another language.
Literally says his legacy as a legend is done and finished. And I am sitting here thinking, hold on. Because most fighters cling to that word like it's oxygen. And Tyson is treating it like yesterday's newspaper. And that is a different level of self-awareness. Then he starts talking about work ethic, saying he does not see the same grind in today's gyms. And I cannot lie, that lands a little heavy. Because it is coming from a guy who used to spar like rent was due every single day. And then he drops that line about fear not hype, not aggression. But fear saying if you are not nervous, you are not built for this. That right there is the part casual fans never understand. Because the best fighters are not fearless, they are disciplined under pressure. So now you have Floyd build a machine like endurance in the gym, and Tyson talking like a man who trusts chaos more than systems. And I am telling you right now that contrast alone is what makes this whole thing impossible to ignore.
Who do you think would win it? If it's a real fight, because that's what Pacquiao wants, it seems.
Yeah, I think Mayweather will. I think Mayweather will take it. Yeah, one thing about Mayweather you have to understand is he's always taking care of himself. Like his body, physically, mentally, he's always been very sharp and always staying in the gym and doing something physically, right? That's the big advantage he has. I mean, he's an athlete. He's a world-class athlete. Watching Pacquiao's last fight, you kind of feel.
What happens to those tough guys at the end of their career? They are speaking another language. And right when Tyson leaves us thinking about fear, discipline, and chaos colliding in a ring, Oscar de la Hoya walks in, sounding like a man who is half amused, half confused, and fully aware of how this sport really works behind the curtain. He literally calls the Mayweather-Pacquiao rematch entertainment. And I am sitting there thinking, that is the cleanest way to say what everyone has been dancing around. Not disrespect and not hype, just entertainment. But then Oscar sneaks in something sharper when he says, if it is a real fight with real rules, then okay, it is a legitimate night for boxing, and that if it's doing a lot of heavy lifting. And when he picks Floyd to win, notice how he frames it not with drama and not with emotion, but with habits, saying Floyd always takes care of himself, always in the gym, and always sharp.
And, you know, even though he did win and he did, I guess, pull off a surprise in his last fight with a draw against the world champion, but still you tend to kind of like feel bad because it's not the same Pacquiao. You know, it's definitely not the same Pacquiao I faced. That's for sure. The one that you know, put me on my stool in the 9th round. So, but I still think that Mayweather will pull this one out.
And boom, now everything we just talked about with Floyd's training suddenly clicks into place. And that is not coincidence, that is a pattern. Then Oscar flips the lens onto Pacquiao, and you can feel the respect mixed with reality as he straight up says it is not the same Pacquiao he fought. And that line hits like a quiet reality check that nobody wants to say out loud. But Oscar is not done, because then he casually drops Deontay Wilder as an underachiever. And that part feels like a completely different conversation crashing into this one. He praises Wilder's raw power like it is something out of a comic book, then questions the activity level, saying fighters today fight too little. And suddenly we are not even talking about legends anymore. We are talking about a whole generation pacing their careers like it is a marathon with coffee breaks. And that is what makes Oscar dangerous in these interviews, because he does not stay in one lane.
Regular person that's scrolling through Netflix to see what's on a weekend night, they're going to look and say, oh, Mayweather, Pacquiao, I know those guys. They're as famous as any boxers in the world. And if it doesn't cost me any extra money and I'm just paying my normal subscription, yeah, I'll check it out. And it's going to do big numbers. That's why Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson did the numbers it did. And that's why, you know, we saw them be interested in a fight like Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua and the other events that they have done. Tyson Fury's comeback as they try to, you know, build up more in the UK. And this is going to be.
And just when Oscar leaves us juggling nostalgia realism and a little bit of quiet doubt, Dan, Raphael steps, and like the guy who already read the script months ago and is just waiting for everyone else to catch up. He straight up says this rematch is not surprising, and I love that tone because it cuts through all the fake shock instantly. While fans are acting like this came out of nowhere, Dan is basically saying we have been here before, and you just were not paying attention. But then he pivots, and this is where it gets interesting, because he does not even treat it like a real fight debate. He treats it like a product, saying it is not for us and not for the hardcore boxing fans who argue scorecards at 3 a.m. It is for the casual fans scrolling through Netflix, deciding what to watch after dinner. And that right there flips the whole conversation on its head, because now it is not about whether this is competitive, it is about whether this is recognizable. And guess what? Mayweather and Pacquiao still hit like a global brand logo.
Much as what obviously they generated in 2015, and you know it'll be a big event, but how much of a fight it will be, who the heck knows? But I mean, to answer the question, I'm not like looking forward to it, but it's one of those things that, you know, you got to write about, you got to cover, and you got to, you know, be involved in, because it's still two of the.
Dan even admits the original fight broke every record imaginable, but now years later, it is not about breaking records. It is about triggering curiosity. Then he drops the MMA analogy with Rousey and Carano, and I am sitting here thinking that is actually perfect because he is exposing the psychology behind it. People do not need peak performance. They need familiar names and a reason to click. And here's the funny contradiction that Dan casually exposes without even raising his voice. The same hardcore fans rolling their eyes right now are still going to watch. He literally says that boxing fans are addicts who complain, debate, and criticize, and then show up anyway. So while some people are trying to judge this like it is 2015 all over again, Dan is treating it like 2026 business strategy. And honestly, that is the part a lot of people do not want to admit.
Pacquiao Mayweather. Again, it is not being put on Netflix for you or me or the folks that watch Boxing Social or all the diehards. It's for
casual.
me and my reaction to the announcement of that MMA fight they're doing. And that was my epiphany.
Spot.
So when you zoom out and really look at the full picture, this whole situation starts to feel less like a single fight buildup and more like three different realities colliding at once. You have Floyd in the gym moving like a machine that refuses to age, protecting that 50-0 like it is a museum piece that still fights back. Then Tyson comes in with that raw, unpredictable energy, not even trying to outthink the moment, just trusting that chaos will eventually crack structure. Oscar steps in and quietly reminds everyone this is still a business wrapped in nostalgia, where discipline beats emotion and habits outlast hype. And then Dan Raphael pulls the curtain all the way back and says, look, this is not even about us hardcore fans anymore. This is a global product built for curiosity and not perfection. That is the real twist, because this whole thing is not trying to be the best fight. It is trying to be the most watched moment. And somehow all of that exists at the same time, with legacy, money, discipline, chaos, and entertainment all tangled together in one event that people will question all week and still watch the second it starts.